Good morning, family. What up? This is Alicia Anabel Santos, La Diosa Dominicana. Welcome to the Afrolatina podcast show and to my personal diary. And so yesterday, I was really proud of myself because if I'm being honest, I didn't want to get out of bed. And I've had many days like this where I haven't wanted to get out of bed, where I haven't had the thing that has inspired me to keep moving, to keep writing, to teach. And it's absolutely connected to depression. And you get to a place where you feel like, why am I doing all this? What's the value? You know, when you're someone who has quit your job, left corporate America, left the stability of income and 401ks and insurance to, let's see if I can make a life as an artist, as a writer, as a creator. It's a huge leap. It's a huge leap of faith. It's a huge risk. And so today, this diary is about faith. It's about losing faith and how I constantly work to find my faith or reconnect to my faith. So yesterday was really interesting because I had every intention of waking up early to begin a new writing ritual, to begin a new practice, a spiritual practice for me. Because when I first became a writer, when I first called myself writer, writing was very much connected to my spiritual journey. My journaling was about what I was searching for and what I was questioning, and basically everything that I was feeling, everything that was rising for me, all of my insecurities, all of my pains. And so I don't know what happened over the years. Like, I had a very disciplined practice. And as I began to hone my craft and grow as a writer, I think I began to listen more to what others were doing and how they were doing and what it took for them to be successful, that it took me off my path. I took myself off my path. I stopped doing everything that used to work. I used to wake up in the morning and I would read a spiritual text for 10 minutes. I would meditate for 10 minutes. I would write for 10 minutes. And I would do this every morning, 30 minutes of of a free write or my morning pages. And I want to talk to you about the artist way, because after I posted yesterday's vlog, as I was walking in the city, I began thinking about the artist way and think all of the things that were unlocked or unblocked during that introspective questioning about my creative and spiritual life. And so, as I always say, this is unscripted, unfiltered, unedited. Did I say that this is episode 12? This is episode 12. So welcome. The Artist's Way, A Spiritual Path to Higher Creativity by Julia Cameron. And what I will say about this book is that it almost feels, it's like a 12-week program. That's all I'm going to say about that. But the intention is to help unleash your creativity. And so I decided last night that I would begin The Artist's Way again for the umpteenth time. So I'll read you a little bit of the intro. Art is a spiritual transaction. Artists are visionaries. We routinely practice a form of faith, seeing clearly and moving toward a creative goal that shimmers in the distance, often visible to us, but invisible to those around us. Difficult as it is to remember, it is our work that creates the market, not the market that creates our work. Art is an act of faith, and we practice practicing it. Sometimes we are called on pilgrimage. Sometimes we are called on pilgrimages on its behalf, and like many pilgrims, we doubt the call even as we answer it. But answer we do. I am writing on a black lacquer Chinese desk that looks west across the Hudson River to America. I am on the far western shore of Manhattan, which is a country unto itself, and the one I'm living in right now. Working to cantilever musicals from page to stage, Manhattan is where the singers are, not to mention Broadway. I am here because art brought me here. Obedient, I came. Hold the words, answering my call, and obedient, I came. I'm going to continue to read a couple of excerpts. Outside my window, out over the Hudson, a very large bird is soaring. I have seen this bird for days now, sailing, sailing on the fierce winds that are the slipstream around this land. It is too large to be a hawk. It is not shaped like a gull. The Hudson Valley is full of eagles higher up. I cannot believe this is one, but it seems to know exactly what it is. Eagle. It doesn't tell its name. It wears it. Maybe as artists, we are such birds mistaken by ourselves and others for something else. Riding the current of our dreams, hunting in the canyons of commerce for something we have seen from higher up. For artists, a wing and a prayer is routine operating procedure. We must trust our process, look beyond results. Creativity. I'll end with this quote. So, this morning I woke up after having a dream with GaryVee. Now, I am only discovering this man maybe a week ago. I honestly, a week, maybe two. I've been seeing posts on several friends' Instagram timeline. Incredible videos that the messages are truly all the same. Stop bullshitting and get it done. That truly, for me, has felt like the moral of his message. Like what he's inspiring us to do is to stop bullshitting and get it done. Stop dreaming about it. Stop talking about it and get it done. And that's not always easy. It's not always as easy as it sounds, but it is, because it requires the act of moving. You know, when we think about the people that we admire, that we see achieving things, it's because they're going for it. It's not that they have anything so spectacular or special. They're going for it. I'm reading a book by Claudine Rankin, Citizen, with my students. And we read the poetic essay about Serena Williams. And while I won't get into the heaviness that is the story about Serena Williams and the racism that she has had to deal with her entire life and injustices she's had to deal with her entire life as a sportswoman, what I will say is that when we look at Serena Williams, I hope that we're seeing the amount of hard work that she's fucking putting into achieving her goals, because I would call them more than dreams, because she's fucking living experience of what hard work looks like. Hard work. She gets up every day and who knows what she's doing. Is she running? Is she swimming? Is she practicing tennis? Is she practicing with her sister? Is she practicing with her parents? How are we practicing our craft? We could stay in bed and watch the entire 12 seasons of Criminal Minds like I have done. Or when I'm really feeling great, I'll throw on old episodes of, Grey's Anatomy so I can get really some good crying in and not get to the page. Or we can stop wasting time. We can stop bullshitting and do the thing that we've been called to do. So what have we been called to do? So I'm proud of myself. This is 2 days in a row. I've woken up, gotten ready, connected my microphone to my computer and said, you know what? I'm recording my podcast. I'm just going to go for it because this is part of my journey. What is the intention behind me starting the Afrolatina Show, the Afrolatina Diaries, is because I want to celebrate the fact that I have spent 10 years on a spiritual journey to tell the most beautiful stories. I'm a storyteller. My intention is to tell stories. And so what a wonderful way for me to gift you some stories. Hopefully you receive them as gifts, and be creating at the same time, because this is fulfilling something for me. I am here seeing myself on this screen, giving you a little piece of me, in hopes that I am receiving also. And it feels like I am, right? I'm waking up and I am deciding to share some of the things that have inspired me. And hopefully that very gift that I'm giving you reminds me of what worked for me to get to the finish line on so many amazing things that I have achieved, period. And so the Afrolatina Diary is me celebrating a lot of that, celebrating all of the things that I've succeeded at. And I'm going to be posting on my podcast some old conversations and interviews from my journey with Afro-Latinos, the documentary that I'm the writer and producer on. Because I tend to do that to remind myself of all of the great works that I have done, and hopefully remind myself that I have so many more great works to achieve. So, answering your call. Faith. This quote says, creativity is an act of faith, and we must be faithful to that faith, willing to share it, to help others, and to be helped in return. It's perfect. It feels right. It feels right in my spirit to even read those words today, because again, this is unscripted. So sometimes it's, you know what I've done? I've taken books and then just flipped to any page and read it and found the message that I've needed in any book. I found the messages that I've needed for that day, or an inspiring sentence to write a free write, or give myself a writing prompt to dive into my story, or to just create something. And so let's talk about faith. Faith is this really interesting concept, right? You know, when you're at your darkest moment and you're on your lowest low, and people are like, keep the faith, just keep the faith. And you just want to punch them in the fucking face because you're like, oh, you don't know my pain. Don't tell me to keep the faith. This shit is hard. That's real. Because nobody wants to feel condescended. And you hear people say, keep the faith. And it feels like they're telling you, get over it. It doesn't feel like they're inspiring you or providing you with something that's empowering you to release that shit. Keep the faith. Just keep the faith. Faith is very interesting and incredibly intimate. First of all, because there are so many of us who have different ways of coming at our faith. We have our own practices. And so this diary is not about me telling you what you should believe. and have faith. What I will say is that I have had many moments where I have questioned my faith, where I have felt like, yo, let me take a sip of this. Where I have felt like, God, why have you forsaken me? If I am doing such good work in the world, why am I not seeing the blessings? I have questioned my God. I have had arguments with my God. I have cursed out my God because I felt like, yo, I give and I give and I give, and motherfuckers take and they take and they take. And where's mine, yo? Why am I still? And I remember one day going to I went to a writer's salon, Women Writers in Bloom. It's curated by J.P. Howard. It takes place in Brooklyn. They meet once a month. It's a wonderful writer's circle. If you're in New York City and you're looking for a place, definitely look up J.P. Howard. So I'm in this salon, and the facilitator, the teacher, gives us some prompt. I don't remember the prompt, but what I do remember is that in my response, I wrote to God. No, I do remember the prompt. The prompt is, who are the 5 people you saw today? Who are the 5 people when you were walking down the street did you see today? Trying to see if you're connecting with people, right? Trying to remind you, trying to see if you can go back and see, did someone smile at you? Did a child laugh at you? Did you see, someone trip? These 5 people. My response, I wrote to God, that I saw God today. And in my note to God, I was saying, I'm obedient. I've done all you asked. I answered my call. Why have you abandoned me? That was what I said to God. Why have you abandoned me? And the response came from my pen onto the page from God. I've never abandoned you. It's you who've abandoned me. When those words left my fucking pen onto the page, I was like, what? It is I who abandoned it. Every time I have sat down to create, the words have come. And on another show, we'll talk about blocks and getting unblocked. But for this show, I abandoned my writing. I abandoned my story. I abandoned my characters. I abandoned my practice. I abandoned my spiritual practice, which is writing. And so faith is something that if you're not practicing it, you can lose it. If you're not walking with it, you can lose it. If you're not holding it tight, you can lose it. That's what faith is to me. Faith is this blind thing, right? Like you can't, we believe in these things. I believe in the universe, that the universe provides. I believe in a lot of, spiritual laws. I believe in my spirit guides. I believe that I have guardian angels that walk with me. I believe that I have high orishas protecting me. And I have many ways of communing with spirit. Like I have many practices. And so today I'm being reminded through my creativity to honor my spiritual practice, which is writing. Writing is my spiritual practice. And I think that's been the disconnect. And so I'm going to leave that there because my dream with GaryVee. GaryVee. Real quick before I go, because I have to go teach my amazing seniors, my viejos that I love so much. I'm going to teach at senior centers in the Bronx, which I love, love, love. Oh my God, their stories are amazing. GaryVee, real quick. So last night in my dream, GaryVee came to a place I was working at as a secretary, I guess. I guess I was administrative assistant, or I worked in some office. No idea. But GaryVee, I think I was working in this office. GaryVee comes to have this conversation. There are a lot of bosses walking around, all these, white women walking around, and they're giving orders and dictating, and they do this and get this and move this and lift this and clean this and all this shit. And GaryVee comes and he's having this talk. And I also remember distinctly that he had this like table behind with like goodies, and he was asking people to kind of share their testimony about where they are and what they're passionate about. He was challenging us to answer our call and to tell him what that call is. And so I got up and I said to him, yo, first of all, I'm a writer. I'm a storyteller. I was born to write. I realized that I was a writer after September 11th. I'll tell this story another time too. But this is all the things I'm telling him. I'm giving him some background about me, and then bringing him full circle to where I am. I told him that I had just finished being honored and recognized at the HBO Latino Film Festival, where our documentary Afrolatinos, La Historia que nunca nos contaron, was screened. We also were at a film festival in California. We were at the United Nations, and now we have all kinds of invitations that are coming to us. So I'm sharing with him all of this amazingness. But I close with, finally, it got to a point where I decided that I needed to get up and stop fucking around and stop bullshitting and answer my call. And my call is to write my stories. But while I'm doing that, my hustle is to teach writing in the writing workshops that I facilitate, writing from the womb, in the organization that I founded, the New York City Latina Writers Group, and in facilitating my workshop for senior citizens, A Story for the Ages. So I'm telling him all this shit about how happy I am and proud and how I'm never going to settle and this is me. And he gave me a game board. He gave me Candyland. I have no idea what that was about, but he was like, here you go, girl. This is for you, Candyland. And listen, I can't even sit here and analyze the dream with you. So I've got to think about it now, because I just remembered right now that the game is Candyland. So I have to remember why that was so significant to me as a child. And tomorrow, I'll talk about that more. But what I will say is that GaryVee showed up in my dream to remind me that I am on the right path. And there is something that I'm paying homage to from my past, right? With the Candyland. And so, GaryVee, thank you for showing up in my dream. You are some random motherfucker for real. And for the rest of you, let's set our intention for today, right? It's a new day. Let's close our eyes. Let's take a few deep breaths. Let's put our hand on our hearts, or our hands on our knees, or our hands in our palm. Whatever you feel will ground you. Wherever you feel like you need some medicine, some healing. And I want you to think about your intention for today. I want you to think about the ways that you might have lost faith. Faith in people, faith in humanity, faith in employers, faith in lovers, faith in yourself. Let that play in your mind, right? Think about the moments, maybe the top 5 moments, right? Where you felt you've lost faith. Now I want you to flip it. Now I want you to see a moment where, by holding on to your faith, the turnout was favorable, in your best interests, and felt amazing. So you're thinking about a moment where you held your faith and the outcome was positive. When you're ready, come out. What is your intention for today? My intention for today is to walk with so much faith that nothing can shake me, nothing can shift me. That even when something fucked up comes my way, I will not be moved. When I feel like I'm fucking around and I'm bullshitting, I can remember to stand, keep moving, and remember who walks with me. My intention for today is to walk in love, to be love, and to have fun with my seniors. Have a beautiful day. Peace.